Democratic lawmakers in New York are attempting to keep Republican Representative Elise Stefanik's House seat unfilled until the summer, a move described as unprecedented and developed during late-night talks last week, according to a Republican Assemblyman from New York. "We haven't yet seen the final proposal from the Democrats in Albany, but it's clear that Tammany Hall-style corruption is thriving in the state capitol," said Republican Assemblyman Matt Slater, who represents the 94th District encompassing parts of Putnam and Westchester counties, during an exclusive Zoom interview with Fox News Digital on Sunday morning. "It's outright corrupt for New York State Democrats to keep altering the rules for their own benefit while New Yorkers are facing numerous challenges. U-Haul has reported our worst migration rating ever, indicating that many New Yorkers are leaving the state. They can act when it suits them, but they choose not to when it doesn't," Slater added. As the ranking Republican on the state's election law committee, Slater was responding to state Democrats' efforts to propose legislation that could delay the filling of Stefanik's House seat until June, coinciding with the state's scheduled primary elections. Stefanik is currently undergoing the confirmation process to join the Trump administration and is expected to resign her House seat if confirmed as the next U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. According to current law, New York's governor has 10 days to call a special election for a vacant seat, followed by an additional 80 to 90 days to conduct the election. Stefanik's seat is crucial for the Republican Party, especially as they hold a narrow majority of 218 members compared to the Democrats' 215. Although the Democrats' proposed legislation has not yet been introduced, they were called to an emergency meeting on Friday evening to discuss it, Slater noted. He anticipates receiving a copy of the Democrats' bill on Monday morning. Slater believes that the Democrats' aim to alter election laws to postpone the special election until summer is part of a broader strategy to counter the second Trump administration. Speaker Johnson faces a tough challenge in keeping the Republican conference united. This would further narrow the Republican majority, complicating the Speaker's job and jeopardizing President Trump's agenda in Congress. The Albany Democrats are focused on opposing President Trump at every turn, and this is just their latest tactic, Slater stated. He highlighted several instances where New York Democrats have utilized their state power to challenge Trump and the Republican Party in recent years, including gerrymandering and manipulating the state's highest court. With Democrats. When you examine the Democrats' history, who currently hold power over all facets of state government in New York, it's clear they have altered the rules repeatedly to serve their own interests. This includes redistricting, manipulating the Court of Appeals, and enabling the governor to remove her then-indicted lieutenant governor from the ballot. The list goes on, he stated. In this instance, it will deny 800,000 New Yorkers proper representation in Washington. Additionally, there were 2 special elections last year, and the Democrats didn't advocate for any rule changes because, quite frankly, these are Republican districts that will be affected. They are attempting to undermine the Trump administration and, frankly, Leader Johnson's ability to advance their agenda. President Donald Trump nominated Stefanik to be the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations during his second term. The Senate Foreign Relations Committee voted on Thursday to move forward with the confirmation of the New York Republican, with a full Senate vote anticipated later this week. Stefanik is expected to resign from the U.S. House if and when the Senate officially confirms her nomination. A spokesperson for Democratic New York Governor Kathy Hochul told Gothamist that she believes it's essential to boost voter turnout and lower election administration costs, and she would support legislation aimed at achieving that objective. Slater dismissed the office's assertion that the proposal is focused on enhancing voter turnout and reducing expenses, pointing to 2 special elections held last year, one for former Democratic Representative Brian Higgins' seat and another in February 2024 to replace former Republican Representative George Santos in a district where Democrats were anticipated to have an advantage over the GOP. Slater noted that Democrats, who have maintained trifecta control in the state since 2018, did not advocate for changes to special election laws last year. "I find it hard to believe how hypocritical the governor and her office can be in this situation, especially since she had 2 special elections for Congress last year," he remarked. To claim that this will save taxpayer money and enhance voter turnout, yet fail to consider this last year when your own party had special elections they were favored to win? The reality is, this is entirely about a Republican seat. This is about maintaining Republican control in Congress and disrupting President Trump's agenda in Washington. Local reports indicate that the bill could delay the special election until November, coinciding with the state's general elections. Although Slater expressed skepticism that Democrats would extend the timeline that far. If they genuinely want to discuss increasing voter turnout and saving taxpayer money, there's really no justification for waiting beyond that June deadline. And so he acknowledged that while it's possible November could be the date included in the legislation, he finds it hard to believe they would actually go that far. Slater contended that the Democrats' push for a special election change serves as a wake-up call for New Yorkers. It's so obviously politically motivated that New Yorkers need to realize this isn't the leadership we want. President Trump has a strong agenda for the future, and this is all about undermining that agenda to prioritize America, he stated. Stefanik, a longtime ally of Trump, served as the chair of the House Republican Conference from 2021 to 2025, making her the fourth highest-ranking Republican in the House. She was first elected to the House in the predominantly Democratic state of New York in 2014 at the age of 30, becoming the youngest woman ever elected to the House at that time.